maybe I'm wrong. I have heard from my extensive studies of Hinduism that the people that have attained, moksha or even high levels of spirituality, sometimes you get given boons.
Yeah, you get given boons from the gods. Yeah.
But in order to do that, you can't just fast for one day. For example, in Islam, there is one night. It's called the night of power. And, in winter, the night is only like 3-4 hours.
No, in summer.
In the summer.
In the summer.
But it's only a few hours. Just worshipping for a few hours, you can get the
equivalent of 83 years. 83 years.
Yeah, which is equivalent to 83 years. So what I'm saying is that in Hinduism, for you to get these boons, that in Islam that you would get in a number of hours, because an elderly woman, a young child, whoever it is can get these things. In Hinduism, you would have to, for 10 years, you have to be in a certain position. For 10 years, you have to be meditating in a cave. For 10 years, you have to be separated from your family. It is very, very taxing on your body.
Like the Aguris.
Yeah.
Aguris, yeah. You know them, yeah.
Okay, so
you know them. Yeah. But that's what he's. Yeah, but that's what he is talking about. The Aguris.
It's not proper. Actually, you related this. Okay, let me answer.
No, I have.
You related to Hinduism. Although I'm not Hindu. If I will tell to anyone, this guy say, I will tell him, okay, man, fast every Sunday, or fast 5 days per week. Okay, fast from this. You will acquire power. It's not related to Hindu. Don't believe in Hindu God. Just fast for 5 days. Yes, follow fast.
Consecutive.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's where in Islam.
Okay. Fast 1 day. Okay, fast until noon.
Yeah, but
you will still acquire power because it's just a tool. It's not related to Hindu or any religion.
But you see,
let me finish. It's not related to Hindu. It's related to just tools. If some doctor, like nutritionologist, yes, if I say proper, like who's nutrition, how to take a food.
Yeah, the one that advise you regarding your nutrition. Nutritionist.
Yeah. If he advise you just fast until noon time and eat majority of food noon time and then don't eat after 6.
No, Matamur, but we're talking about in here about the creed. He's not talking about like someone, a doctor or this or that. That's different. We're talking about the creed, like the core of the belief. He's talking about that's what he's talking about. That's what he's talking about.
It's what you accept what to follow, because there is no actually strict. There is no one book that says, okay, follow this, and you will be named.
But his example is perfect, because he gave you the example, and then I said the Aguris, which is what he gives you in order for you to acquire. For example, for us. If I want the reward of God, I can do remembrance. I can just remember God by chanting, and in my heart, in my tongue. This is what we're doing. It's also part of getting rewards, because we trying to convey His message. So we can do it in so many different ways, but we have to adhere to the rule of Islam. We have to adhere to it. So when he says something, he can't tell you, for example, something which is not tolerated by Islam or that, and say to you, oh, this is good.
And the thing is, the boon. When a person is trying to get a boon in Hinduism, you're doing that worship to a specific God. So it is inherently religious.
So 100%.
So they keep Shiva in mind, that I'm doing this and eventually I'll get the boon
or
from
Vishnu
Shiva.
or Ganesh or.
Look, you accept me as a Hindu, okay? I will play roles as a Hindu now. So okay, you accept me as a Hindu. I'm playing role. Okay, I'm telling to this guy.
No, but if you're not Hindu, you're not Hindu.
Follow.
It's a Hare Krishna.
You're not Hindu.
It's a Hare Krishna.
Then take me to the Hare Krishna.
What I'm doing, I'm trying to show you what you are saying. Actually, it's not related to any religion. It's a tool. if you're a scientist or scientists on this Western world or scientists in Chinese world, they understand this tool, how this works. You don't need to relate it to anyone. If you just from today, you will say, okay, God, I will fast for you. I don't want to satisfy my body, this flesh. This flesh. I don't want to satisfy it for my favorable things, because when I'm eating these things, I forget about you and I'm enjoying by this sweet taste. Okay, I don't want this.
Help yourself.
I reject this food until noon time and just remember you. I will reject my breakfast.
It's in English, yeah?
I want English.
Okay, no problem.
For you.
You're Muslim?
No, but I always wanted to have a copy.
Yeah, please have a read. You can have some more if you want. See what you...
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, there's a slight difference.
This talks about the mother of
With
Jesus.
the example that you gave, you're right.
Yeah.
But you've missed, I think, my example. Let me try to be a bit
The
more
life
clear.
of Prophet
So,
Muhammad.
You're right in the sense that if you're going for an operation
Got this.
and the doctor says for 1 day don't eat,
And this.
then you won't eat.
Okay,
And then
yeah.
your
Plenty to read, yeah?
operation is bound to be
Okay,
successful.
take care.
However, if your objective is spiritual, there's a difference. One is fasting for a physical reason. One is fasting purely because of the sake of God. There is ikhlas, there's a sincerity.
Intention.
That's why we pay heavy attention to a narration, which is intention is based.
إنما الأعمال actions are based on intentions. So any action we do depends on the intention. Let me give you just a clear example.
It's intention, not related to Hindu or any other religion.
No, let me give you
any human who has intention to reach something and just to follow fasting. It doesn't relate to any religion, any woman.
Our intention is to get to God.
Yeah.
Not for our primary intention is not physical benefit.
I'll explain it.
It's what I'm saying. It's what you said. It's someone who wants to follow 10 years or whatever. It's his desire, his decision.
You're right, but there's a distinction here. One is to do an act. Why?
Are you Muslim?
For the supreme one.
There you go.
Yeah, the creator of all, the knower of all. Yeah, one is to do it for yourself, for other people.
Yeah.
Or to get bones.
Yeah,
to get money.
Yeah, to get money.
He will not eat. He will work 1 hour additional. He will overpay.
So we're saying there are two different categories. We're talking about the category which is the wisdom category.
But it's their decision. We are not talking about them.
I'm not denying that. They can absolutely. There are non-Muslims that do fast. They call it intermittent fasting. They meditate. They call it transcendental meditation. There's no God involved. But that's what I'm saying. Their result of that is purely physical.
Can
not
I give an example? Can I give an example to make it clear? Let's say I eat food. But the point for me eating food is to get nice physique, and I want to look nice and to be fit. And another person eats food so that he can have health, so he can pray to Allah during the night.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, me eating the food, I get no reward for that. The person who eats the food in order so that he can pray to Allah at night, he gets the reward for eating food. So the intentions in here were different. One is for the reaching what you say, and the other one for the pleasures of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Have you got something similar in...
Of course, I'm saying it's related to intention. If some person although I don't want to speak about fasting, you spoke about religion, this got only from, give only Quran, others wrong. As I remember, I forgot, it was 10 minutes ago. But of course, yes, intention is what I'm saying actually finally, yes? Intention. You have goodness quality. You have intention to acquire, to get a relation with the God. So you are following rules, regulations, or whatever you follow. It's related to your intention and to your quality.
You've missed the entire premise of the discussion, because we started off talking about
knowledge.
information, then knowledge,
Wisdom.
I'm trying to take you to wisdom. You want to stay at the information level. The information level is you doing certain acts purely for physical reasons, for personal benefit, for the benefit of a couple of people around you. I'm saying when you traverse that into knowledge and then eventually wisdom.
Actually, I did not say anything yet. We just spoke and we tried to define what is knowledge, what is the information, what is.
I thought we defined that already. We defined information, we defined knowledge, so it's wisdom now.
Anything, but only that.
Do you think I can have one?
Did I give you one or not? Yeah, I didn't.
No,
I understand.
it's the first time when I get.
No problem. No
Thank you very much.
No problem. See if you can like something else.
Connects is goodness quality with
Well,
God
there-
or supreme person.
It was the
It's
sign
the
of
statement I said, nothing more.
You want the son of Jonah? Yeah.
and one of the Miriam.
Yeah, Miriam. Yeah.
Mary.
Mary. Yeah, it's Mary. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
You're
Nice
welcome.
afternoon.
You're welcome. You too. Yeah. Take care.
Speak about fasting, but if you see fasting, it's
You're
not
right.
actually specific to religion, or it's not just one tool you can use in any fast.
No
Any
problem.
fast.
But
No problem.
there's a distinction between fasting out of religion and there's a distinction between fasting in religion.
Religion, yeah.
And it is the outcome. Yeah, what a person hopes to achieve. One is a person achieves to earn worldly benefit, and one is where a person wants to achieve closeness to God.
Divine.
That's why I'm saying there are three levels. We're talking about the third level. Yes, indeed, there will be many parallels you can find. For example, Muslims, when we pray with our head on the ground. But you will see certain Orthodox Christians doing that. You will see certain Hindus doing that as well. You will see certain
Buddhists doing that
even
as well.
atheists, they call it grounding, when they touch certain parts of their body onto the floor. Yeah, but what is the benefit of that compared to the benefit of what we're saying? We're saying there's a difference of intention and outcome.
Yeah.
Intention is to get close to
So
God,
you have
attain wisdom.
So you have one path, you have another path, you have materialistic path, one religious path, another religious path, and there is different results and benefits you can get, or at least it promised.
There's one thing.
You have promised something in your religion, other religion promised something, and depends on nature and ability to distinguish and quality of goodness one possesses. Yes, you decide. You have your free will, small free will, and according to the pressure of society, as you said, you accept one or another path.
Marut,
So
can we do one thing? Really, the question that you asked, the first one, I think that's important to start for the wisdom. Is the sublime being, the necessary being, is it one or multiple? So what do you think? I think this is, so we can get now to the wisdom.
I think it's one.
You think it's one?
Yes.
So define
Even
it.
before Hare Krishna, I thought it one.
You thought it's one.
After Hare Krishna, I also thought it one.
But you know Hare Krishna is created.
Everything created.
But the necessary being is not created.
Necessary.
The necessary being, the ultimate being, God, is not created.
Yeah, it's not created.
But Hare Krishna is created.
Quran is created.
No, Quran
Yes.
is not created. It's not.
It will be yes, no, yes, no, yes, no.
No,
It's
but I
created.
can't tell you why it's not created.
Okay, say me one.
Okay.
This is our belief.
It's belief,
So
but
when-
it's not like 100% you can say.
No,
It's your
there's-
belief. You choose it to understand.
No,
it.
there's something to be distinguished here. If you have a belief in Hare Krishna
You
about the
can put
nature
your
of
bag,
something,
Tamur, you can put your bag down here if you want. You sure? You're comfy, yeah? Okay.
there are certain principles which are integral to the movement of Hare Krishna. Similarly, there are certain points of Aqidah that are integral to the belief of Muslims and Islam. What the Shaykh will now elaborate is why this is a valuable, important
Salam.
unit that we
بارك الله فيك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بارك الله فيك.
So what you makes to
So
believe
why
this
the
is-
Quran is uncreated?
Why it's
Yeah.
uncreated?
Okay.
And Hare Krishna
Okay.
created.
Allah.
And Bible maybe created. Yes.
Okay.
But the
Bible
Quran,
they believe created.
Okay.
But Quran uncreated.
This is
Only
not.
Quran
This is not the.
uncreated.
No. This is not the Quran. This is the meaning of the Quran.
Okay.
The Quran is the Arabic one. Yeah.
Okay.
Now Allah is the creator of everything.
Okay.
Everything. The creator of a human being, the creator of the trees, the creator of everything. He has got names and attributes. The attributes are inherent of his essence. You understand what I mean by inherent?
Yeah, it's like father to
Yeah.
child.
So it's inherent.
Yeah.
So
DNA.
he spoke and he speaks and he will speak. That's an inherent attribute of his.
Okay.
It's not, his speech is not created because it is inherent attribute. Like his knowledge is an inherent attribute. Like his mercy he does not need to be merciful. He does not need to be to exercise mercy in order
Because
to be
he is the
merciful.
mercy, yeah.
He is
He is
merciful.
already merciful. Okay.
He does not need to create to be a creator. In the same way, his speech is not created because that's inherent. He speaks whenever he wants to speak. However, your speech and my speech and my brother's speech in here are created. Why? Because we are the creation of God.
Okay. So well,
So the
your logic.
Quran. Alaykum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
We've got a question. I don't want to interrupt you. You're talking.
Yeah, we are in a conversation. We come back.
Continue.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just throw it out there. My friend posited the idea that you lot over here, right, want to destroy England.
What?
Want to destroy England. But we'll come back to it another time. Carry on with your thing.
He didn't let me expand on the idea
No,
at all
we
before
don't
coming
seriously.
over here.
They're having a conversation.
Come, maybe after
believe
maybe
we're
after 15 minutes.
Look at the man's face. He's dedicated. He's dedicated. Let him talk.
So you said how it's created, how God is not created.
So
and we are created.
we are the creation.
Okay.
So hence your speech is created, mine is created, and that. But God's is the inherent. He's the first. He's that.
But why do you think He's not created?
Why do I think he's not
How
created?
do you know about Him?
Okay. I'm gonna take you into a thing. Why I think. If I say to my brother Zishan in here, I want to give you a hug. He tells me, wait, let me ask the person behind me. Then he asks the person behind him. The person behind him says, wait, let me ask the person behind me. If it goes like that, can I ever give him a hug?
I think I miss.
Oh, okay. Look,
You ask him,
I'm
he
saying,
asks- yeah.
Brother Zishan, I want to give you a hug.
Yeah.
He goes to me, let me ask the person behind me. He asks the person behind him.
Okay.
The person behind him says the same thing. Let me ask the person behind me.
Okay.
And it goes in
Yeah,
circle.
yeah.
Will I ever give him a hug?
Maybe if you will be last person in the queue.
Well, if it goes on like
Round,
that,
like
it will
it goes
go
around.
an infinity. It's what we call
If you will go around.
what we call infinite regression. It's a fallacy. I will never be able to give him a hug.
Why?
So it has to stop somewhere.
If you will be last in the circle.
Not circle.
We're not
But
talking
he did
about
not say this
circle.
is not circle.
I didn't look.
I said
It's not
in
a
this-
circle.
In this case, it could be.
It's not a circle.
Why it's not a circle?
Why?
I'll give you an example.
No. Why it's not a circle?
Because circular.
It's just example. He want to in this analogy. He want to give me understanding something. Yes, it's this analogy. So
I'll tell you why it's not a circle. Because in the circle, the cause becomes the effect. In other words, a mother ends up giving birth to herself.
Okay.
That's what happens in a circle, because you have the cause, effect, cause, effect, cause, effect.
Yeah.
Then the cause becomes the effect of itself. It doesn't make sense.
Okay.
So the point that he's saying, I'll just describe it. If I am to throw this bottle at you, before I throw, I ask his permission.
Okay, so you
Listen
okay?
first, listen,
simple.
listen,
Is you
listen,
simple? You want to say God has not a cause. He doesn't have a cause.
Yes.
It's what? Okay,
Yes.
simple.
He's the cause. He's the uncaused cause.
Okay, so how do you call this if he doesn't have a cause? How do you say about it?
It has to stop somewhere.
How he started?
That
What is the
place.
beginning?
No, just wait. That place where it stops, that's the uncaused cause. That's what Aristotle calls the necessary being. The necessary being. Otherwise, you're gonna fall into a fallacy of infinite regression. An infinite regression whereby there will be no end. We're just going. And infinity, it's not something that exists anyway. Or am I wrong in it?
No, the only point was Aristotle calls it the prime mover. The necessary existence is something which is
Necessary
accepted.
being,
Yeah,
necessary
necessary
being.
existence is more accurate, and
Okay.
that's accepted by most Western, Eastern philosophers, that there's no such thing as an infinite regress. It has to stop somewhere, because either you have a dependent thing or a necessary thing. If something is dependent, it's part of the necessary, it's part of the dependent set. So either one thing is dependent or independent. So the end of that chain, do you think is dependent or independent?
It's the end of the chain.
Yeah.
Of the chain, yeah. So the chain is going and it stopped here. So this, what is it contingent or uncontingent? Dependent or independent?
Dependent.
If it's dependent, then the chain carries on. What is it dependent on? Because dependent by definition means on something else.
Yes.
The only way for something to be dependent.
On your first question, can I do this? It was dependent on this, so it's dependent.
So I was going to give you a nice example, but you stopped me. So now we're going with whatever you understand at this moment in time. That for anything that's dependent to be able to exist, it has to rely on something by definition that's independent. That's undisputable. Common sense.
Yes,
basic logic.
first things should be independent, but chain dependent.
So
You ask about the chain dependent.
So you, me,
Chain dependent.
we're dependent on water, dependent on molecules, dependent on this,
Oxygen.
dependent.
And first one should be independent.
And at the end has to be
Independent.
Khalas.
Yeah, of course. But chain dependent. Okay, so
Chain is not the question here.
Hey,
It's
he asked
not-
about chain.
That's he's asking as an
I'll give an example.
Example was okay. I'm answering an example. What was asked, I answered.
No problem. What about the chain then? Let's stick with the chain.
No, but okay,
But the chain is
you're going
dependent
you're going
if we stick by that logic.
you're going through analogy. Also, it's no needed to explain to me this. If you just say okay, God is independent, us since dependent, I'm already agree. No need to this full-on discussion.
The reason
what I'm trying to say, you say okay, our Quran is only one, and Quran is not created, and God from Allah is not created. Other things created. I'm asking why it's not created and other things created. This is the question.
There is a reason why we spent some time trying to explain this to you. Let me explain why. Because
Okay.
remember, you said intention is very important, and you understand someone's intention through information and knowledge. And information and knowledge is what I'm going to give you so you understand my intention. My intention was, and our intention is, once you understand that there is an end to that chain, the end to that chain is singular. It is independent. Yeah? It does not beget, nor is it begotten.
But it's
One
wrong
second.
example.
One second.
Okay.
It's a good example.
Wrong example.
You haven't let me finish. I'll tell you why. The reason, I'll reiterate, the reason why it's important for you to understand that there is one at the end of that chain. One, not multiple like
This I'm
dependent.
not agree with this.
Okay, so there are multiple necessary beings.
No, it's chain. It's a
Do you
cause.
see?
Wait. You're saying it's the end of the chain?
Yes.
In your example, at the end of the chain there is one singularity. But I'm not agree with this.
I didn't say singularity. I said necessary existence. Something which is different to a dependent existence.
Independent.
Okay, it's same thing. Okay, independent. One independent. But
Yeah.
it's not right to say
Uncaused.
like this. It's not right to
Uncaused.
say like this from my point of view. I explain why. Because this independent one created a chain, and chain made a cause, and there is a one how do you call this, circle? Yes, the circle.
Circle.
Yes, in chain.
Oh, the dent.
Link.
The
Yes,
link, yeah.
link in chain cause another link. It's cause another link, and this link could not be cause of independent things. It's created infinity of dependent links. But who was first? He's independent. So at the end of the chain, there could not be someone who is independent. At the end of the chain, it will be always who is dependent. This is what I'm saying.
How is it?
So this example not right.
Okay. So you have, how many types of existences are there?
I don't know. You are asking some.
Okay. There's dependent or independent. Is there a third?
I don't know even now. I don't think it exists. My question was why Quran is created, not created, and other things created. I want to hear this answer. Just more simple.
But the Sheikh already gave you an answer to that.
No.
You said yes, you understand, you agree, then
No.
you
Yeah.
to that again.
I
He said he agreed to that.
Yeah, I mean, you saw that.
Agree to what?
That the Quran, why
It's
we
not-
believe the Quran is
it's not
uncreated.
created.
No, I did not hear the answer. Why? Still, I'm.
I said to you that
You have
Allah,
record? Do you have?
yeah, Allah is
Give
the
me link,
creator. Allah is the creator of
The link in
everything.
the chain.
Link in the chain. In the chain.
Allah,
not first.
Allah
Yes,
is the
that's true.
creator of everything. Allah
Okay.
is the creator of everything.
Why? Why Allah? Why not Krishna?
Krishna is created
Why Allah not created? Krishna created.
because
Your question is
Yes.
based on the Quran, right?
I'm not based on it's based on my
thinks,
question,
Allah
our
is-
dialogue with
Yeah.
you.
So
I met
a specific,
you.
One second. You're asking why we believe the Quran is uncreated.
I'm not
right?
asking why.
English
I'm
people,
not asking why you
etc.
believe.
think
I'm asking why you say
Allah
that
is a
because
specific
if you,
God.
If you say before,
to Muslim is
before,
not God.
your speech, okay, Allah
Maybe
is not
it's why
created.
he's-
Before
No,
you
he's a
say,
Hare
I believe
Krishna.
in
He's
this,
a Hare
I
Krishna.
believe.
He's a
Allah-
Hare
so we do
Krishna.
need to go back on that
If
one.
you say
Hare
before,
Krishna, you
I
know,
believe,
like
my
Hindus.
faith, I trust,
ah.
Allah
Oh,
is
something
not
like
created,
that.
and other things, all your
he-
books,
he's
all your
polytheist.
discussions, it's one thing.
Pardon?
But if you don't
Polytheist.
think this
Yeah,
first,
yeah.
Two words, I believe, I trust, I understand.
Allah
Okay.
responded
And
to
you say
polytheism.
Yeah, I know.
Allah is
I
not
know.
created.
But
I'm
it-
saying why? And you, if you don't have an answer, okay, answer
The
your
thing is,
I
you
believe.
keep jumping. When we give you the answer for the dependent and independency argument, you want to come back on the Quran. When we're telling you about the Quran, then
You
want
went
to
back
go
to
on
the
that.
independency.
Now, the reason why we did spend
No,
5
I'm
minutes.
agreed with you. I'm agreed.
reason
No,
why we- the reason
I'm
why
agreed
we-
with your independence. I just said no
You
need
don't
to
because
prolong
you,
this thing.
you didn't because you don't believe that there is an independent end to that chain.
What again?
Do you believe that there is an independent existence at the end of that chain?
At the
chain
end of the
existence.
chain,
But I'm saying it's wrong. Can I explain? Do you not agree with me?
Go ahead.
I already explained. If you say there is first independent and he created a chain, yes? Is it right? Am I right?
From everything depends on the independent existence. Yes.
So he created a chain.
Yes.
Yes. So chain created. So result of the chain will be what? Another link, dependent. Yes. Like you say, behind
Yes,
me,
yes.
you will ask. So at the end, could not be the independent things.
How?
It could
How?
not be. Always will be dependent.
On what?
At the end of the chain, in front of you.
Either the dependent thing relies on something that's dependent, or it relies on something independent. You only have two options.
Dependent relies on dependent.
Listen. If you say dependent relies on dependent,
Yes,
dependent
yes.
forever, then
Yes.
you are believing in something
Fallacy.
called an infinite regress.
regression. Yeah,
In other
it's a
words, you
fallacy.
believe in infinity. Infinity does not exist.
Exist.
And
Why? It exists. Where is your God? Everywhere. It's
No,
infinity.
No, no,
one
no,
second,
no,
one
no,
second,
no,
one
no,
second.
no, no, no.
God limited.
One
It's
second.
not limited. It's not
So
limited.
it's everywhere. It's
Relax.
unlimited.
Relax, relax.
You see, you ask and you answer. You ask and you answer. He's trying to. Let's before jumping into everywhere and not. Let's just let him finish what he was
Okay,
saying.
I will listen. But
Yeah,
it
because you
was-
jumped from one place
I'm
to
not
the
jumping.
other.
It was just, it was
No,
just curious.
I know, but Tamur, you
surprise.
asking and you answering.
Okay,
Let him
okay,
finish.
It was,
Let him
It was
finish.
interesting.
Let him finish.
How we define dependency and independency, yeah? Dependent thing is something that's composed of pieces. This is a dependent thing. It can cease to exist and it can be any other way. That's how you define something that is dependent. Remember, we started this whole discussion with definitions. An independent thing is something which is not composed of pieces. It cannot be any other way, and it cannot cease to exist. You, me, universe, anything that you see is dependent. Anything that is dependent has to rely on something that is independent, otherwise it just does not make sense by definition.
Okay, my question now is how many there is independent things you
Logically can only be one.
Okay, I'm agree with you. I'm okay with this. So my next question is it this has limits or no?
So this independent existence, rationally and logically is one.
Yes.
Independent, like I mentioned, does not beget, nor is it begotten, meaning it doesn't have children, nor was it given birth to, and there's nothing like it.
And one more
No, my
thing.
question was, is it infinite or it's
I'm
limited?
telling you.
My
you.
question
I'll tell you.
It doesn't
It's
answer.
out. Yeah.
not an answer.
No. I will finish his answer. I will finish
it's
his.
not an answer.
I will finish his answer. It is out of time. So out of space and matter. You know what I mean by matter?
No.
Matter, for example.
We are going to definition now.
For example, clay is matter. Clay is matter.
What is the matter?
Wood is matter.
It's example, it's not definition. But my question
Matter
still
is the coming together of molecules. How about that?
Yeah.
whatever we are going, I try to understand now because it was a very big surprise for me. Like you're saying, we are still stuck on this. Are the chain has at the end independent things? Yes, we are still on this, and we're trying to give definition to many terms to understand to get to this point. Yes, so I'm going to back. If at the end you understanding your beliefs at the end of the chain, there is independency, like what we are called God. Yes, let us clear. We are independent is God.
Yes.
We believe independency to be God.
Yes, I also accept this. So I could not say at the end of the chain something chain. It means one link create another link. Yes, chain. Like you give me example. If I ask you, can I hug you or not? It was example. So
Yeah.
you ask for cause. Yes, for reason. So a cause will be answer of previous person. Another person needs to ask another person. So cause will be second person from first. Yes, and it's like infinite chain. So at the end of this chain, it could not be first one who is created this chain, because it will be if we will give him a status of independent, he could not be depends on the same things he created. He's independent.
The whole of the chain
Just let me-
depend on him. The whole of the chain depend on him.
This whole
Yeah.
chain depend on him. So
Yeah.
this chain, the chain could not be cause of him. The chain is the result.
He's not the cause of him, it's the result of
Yes,
him. That's
so-
what we've been telling
So
you.
he could not be at the end of the chain. He's
Not the end of
he's
the chain.
First.
He's the first.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even he's not the first. He's like from
The
he's
causer
outside.
of the causer. He's the causer
out-
of the.
So he's outside the chain. He's not the first in the chain. He's not at the end of the chain. He's outside the chain. This is what was point.
I think I've understood your point.
Yes.
So you've taken the word chain literally. Yeah?
how I should take it.
Yeah, I will tell you. A chain, as we used it in the example, is a sequence of events. Yeah, not chain in the literal solid sense of one thing attached to another. For example, and that's why we gave you the analogy. If Sheikh is to give me a hug, but I have to ask his permission, it doesn't mean I'm linked to him via a chain. It doesn't mean it's a physical chain.
No, okay. I'm not taking it literally. I'm took it as a reason and cause. So yes, it's a reason and cause. I took it as a reason. Reason, could I hug you? I want to. It's reason, yes. And cause, it's like your answer. But your answer, I need to ask another. So it becomes a reason for another person. So if his answer will be a cause.
Right.
So it's infinite to the end. And at the end could not be independent. At the end could not be independent. Independent outside this chain.
What's the difference?
He's a zero. He's not the first. He's not the end. He's the beginning.
What's the definition of independent?